Morning stream with my Marvel Rivals? Dude, can you play with... I need to play Marvel Rivals. Okay. Well, I have a bunch of stuff on the table I got to clean up. This is how it is. The expected... So... I don't even have Marvel Rivals downloaded. But let's see if I can get some of this set up. And then we will brew some coffee because I haven't brewed any coffee. I actually was brewing coffee yesterday with a friend, and I have a bunch of leftover coffees that have sat overnight. And I think some of these are expensive. Like some of this, yeah, like this is Esmeralda from last night. I'm just gonna drink this, oxidized Esmeralda. But today we have some cool stuff over here. I don't know. Can the camera see? Woohoo. We also have the X-Boom, by the way. Hold on. But yeah, you know, we just gonna brew some stuff and see what happens. I sent the, yeah, I did. Okay, so let me move some of these coffee bags out of the way. Move this here. Have a million things on the table as usual. But I have a bunch of Panama coffees that I've been brewing. I also have just a bunch of coffees as usual. Some of this, actually, we have the new coffees from Say. We also have a bunch of coffees from Verve. This is a Verve coffee sponsored stream, right? Yeah, the other day, Harry and I, Pepe and Jose went down to Verve, and we hung out with the Verve team, and I'm going to keep some of these coffees here because we may brew them. And they handed us some nice coffees, and also the new Dwell Dripper, the updated one. So actually both of the times, Colby, who is the co-founder and CEO of Verve, he has handed me things. So the last Dwell Dripper, which I'll go and get from the other room, that was handed to me at SCA Expo, and then it's been updated. They took Harry's engineering feedback. The man knows what he's talking about, right? They took his feedback and they updated it. So we'll take a look. We'll take a look at the two different Dwell Drippers, you know, from prototype to production, and then we'll brew some coffee. That is the plan. And I can also go over some of the coffees that were handed to me because I think they were pretty cool, and they've been tasting really good. So yeah, that's the plan. And I kind of got to taste some of these coffees before they were released publicly. I guess they just were released yesterday. So anyway, bunch of coffees as usual. Put these Pepes over here. Also, if you won those Pepe coffees, I have to find some time, maybe today, if not Monday, to go to the store and ship it out. Debating on just maybe printing some labels myself, but you know, we'll see. Okay. And yeah, but this is what happens when we have all these people come over and we brew all these coffees. We have all the cups here. So let me go and rinse these out. And we'll open up the new Dwell. And we'll also look at some other coffees that we have. That's the plan. I'll probably be on for like an hour. But I think this is like an incredibly interesting travel dripper to look at. So let me bring this out, which is it's very far away. It's back there. It's on the 01. Then we'll talk about things. I'm going to assume you guys can see things. I haven't looked at what the stream looks like. Oh, here we go. Okay. Product placement. This is interesting. This is a Kenyan natural. Natural Kenyan. I'm kind of interested in this. Open this up. I've actually probably only had natural Kenyan once or twice before. They also handed me this coffee, which is, I think Bots and some other roasters had this. They're also selling one of their roasters to Bots, which is cool. So Bots says Danny's finally getting a new roaster, which is great. And then these are the three other coffees, maybe 4 other coffees we can brew today. Flower Child Esmeralda. This one's interesting. This is an ASD Katuai. They roast these fancier coffees, and then I don't have the full production of this coffee. This is also a Wilfred Lemes's coffee. This is the Elida Natural. Both of these coffees, actually all these coffees are roasted on Loring, but these are roasted on the S7 Loring. So the tiny Loring that Moonwake has. So the higher end coffees that Verve is doing, which is like, these Elida coffees, they are putting more detail and effort into roasting these coffees, and I think they're tasting great. And I am very happy that there is a larger Bay Area coffee roaster. Honestly, like Verve is probably one of the largest roasters now that's actually out here trying. Not to knock on other Bay Area coffee roasters, but if you know what I'm talking about. So I'm glad that they are putting this sort of detail and effort into the higher end coffees, and Bay Area coffee has now been elevated in terms of quality. Yeah, so we are going to brew. Well, let's take a look at this dripper first, and I'll of course need to wake up and we'll need to brew some coffee so we can let people vote on what we should brew. Fancy coffees only. Okay, we have one person. It's too early. I think it is too early to stream, right? Like, nobody's up. Yeah, Digit's the only guy in here. Digit, by the way, has sent me all these Pepe V60s, and I will eventually do another giveaway with them. Like, we gave away the Pepe Tipica Mejorados. We will now give away Pepe V60s. Maybe at the end of the year. I don't know yet. Or maybe next year. I kind of don't really have timing for any of these giveaways, if you haven't noticed, or timing for any of these things. Okay, but I guess we'll turn this into a VOD, right? Because we're lazy, and that's just how it is. I'm double content farming. Okay, so let's we can record videos and shoot at the same time. Okay, the table's actually really big. It's just there's a lot of stuff on it. Okay. So, this is what we are going to do today, is we are going to take a look at the new updated Verve Dwell Dripper. And it's right here. I have a bunch of coffees also from Verve, so we might as well brew that. But I got the chance to go down to Santa Cruz the other day with Pepe, Jose, Harry, and we hung out with the Verve team. Mainly hung out with Colby, who is the founder, CEO of Verve. And he handed me back at SCA Expo the first version of the Dwell Dripper. So if you guys have seen this, this may be very familiar. We took this, ran it over with the Cybertruck, and did a bunch of stuff. But it's a silicone dripper, so I haven't actually used it since, because I wanted to keep those, it's kind of dirty because we ran it and we threw it across the parking lot. But this is like the most durable dripper ever. And it is a really nice flat bottom brewer. It's made of silicone, so you can squeeze it, you can do a bunch of stuff, you can throw it on the ground, and it's completely fine. So if you're traveling, it's very, very convenient. It just has tire marks on it because we ran it over. So if you saw that video, it's a fast flowing flat bottom brewer. It has like all these really nice geometries and airflow and all of that. And they are developing performance paper filters for it. Performance wave flat bottom, or they are developing performance paper filter for them. I don't know if they're going to be flat bottom exactly. I think they might actually minimize bypass, but those will come out soon. But for now, you can use 185, 155 type filters. But Harry has provided some feedback at the end of that video. Maybe they saw it, but they made some updates to this dripper, and this dripper is now officially released. So it comes in all these different colors. I love blue, so we got the blue one. I also do really like this pink that they have. But the main kind of thing that I guess Harry was saying, and obviously this is a prototype, is the geometry at the bottom. It's like not even. It's like not like the holes, the air gaps, and all that aren't even. So they made some adjustments here. But let's open this new dripper up, and we'll brew some coffee. And then we can also talk a little bit about the changes that they've done in terms of coffee roasting. If you guys are nerds, it's really good that there is a big coffee roaster out there that is doing some of these coffees justice. So here we go. Dwell Dripper. Advanced design for better brewing. Dwell Dripper by Verve Coffee. Silicone pour-over dripper. It has very basic directions. I think a lot of people will use these brewers and drippers just without scales or with pre-ground coffee. But if you're a true coffee nerd, you can of course use it with scales and all of that, which is what we'll do. But open it up. Is this what a lot of you guys need? Do you need friends? So yeah, we do have Elida that we will brew. We have two coffees from Wilfred Lamastis. We have this, I think this might be from, oh wait, no, these are both from Elida. Okay, so we have the Elida Katuai and ASC Katuai and Elida Natural Gesha that will brew. This coffee, the Natural Gesha, just released. I think it's about $50 a bag, which is honestly on the cheaper end when you think about it for a natural Elida, or at least a Elida that tastes this good. So here we go. We opened it up. I like what's really amazing is that this is a coffee roastery that has come out with a brewer. Usually coffee roasteries, especially when they grow and they become this big, they just don't really do much, right? They kind of like, oh, well, we just like want to sell coffee and do cafes and all that, and maybe sometimes cool coffees. But what's cool about this is they actually spent time and effort to R&D and build an entire coffee dripper, right? It's like why did you need to do this? But right, a lot of people are like, why did you do this, right? I think this is just really, really cool that they're spending the time and effort to do something like this. And I like that they're local to me. I actually kind of grew up or had a lot of my formative memories of going to fancy cafes in high school and college with Verve, which so they're you know, a little bit of an older company, or maybe I'm younger, right? So it comes with a scoop. I think this is also silicone. Let me open this up. This packaging is really nice. If I can figure out how to open it, I think this is like too fancy of a pack. Oh wait, I'm just bad at opening boxes. Matching color. Scoop. The thing that from the last video that we did on the Dwell dripper is there were a lot of concerns on smell because it's silicone. I haven't really experienced any of that. I'm going to make the assumption that most people, when they brew coffee, you'll at least like rinse the brewer out, rinse your dripper out. So I haven't had any problems with when I was brewing this more extensively, the previous Dwell dripper. But I do think the material maybe feels a little different. I don't know if it's like a color thing, but here, let me show you the differences between these two. It largely hasn't changed except for the bottom geometry, but if we take a look here, so you can see so what we were mentioning in the video is that you actually get really nice flow through here. And as you see there, they updated the bottom design. What's also nice is there are actually like instructions. Although I don't brew coffee at 1:15 ratio anymore, they do tell you can brew coffee at 1:15, but there are instructions. So at least they're trying to tell people what to do. But yeah, dual dripper by 20 grams to 300. It's still made of the same material, right? You know, like a lot of plastic drippers, like, you know, your V6s and all that, you can throw them against the wall and they will survive, but eventually they'll crack, generally speaking. Like, I wouldn't want to take Jay's beautiful UFO and throw it against the wall, but I could take this and throw it against the wall and it would be completely fine. Or in this case, we ran this over with a Cybertruck and it's completely fine. So the changes here that they've done, I'm looking at the differences. Material feels different. Like this feels for sure smoother, but it could be because this is a different color. And then second of all, they have fixed this biggest difference, which is the gaps there were uneven, right? So this was like Harry's complaint. It's like, why is that one not the same size as this one and this one? And then they've opted for it's like four size one. So most likely what's going to happen, and when I was seeing Jose brew, Jose was brewing with this, by the way, is that this one should, when the paper filter is sticking on the bottom here, I just have like some, you know, paper filters here, is that you should get more capillary action or flow out here. Not that I felt like this was a slow dripper at all. I mean, this really feels about the same speed as B75 or S-Works with the with this bottom here, with like the honeycomb screen. So this all is in the same category of speed, just that you can brew large doses with this. So what I was when we were using this, we were actually talking to Harry. I was like, dude, you should just use this at the farmer's market. This thing's like bulletproof. You can you know, baristas can throw it against the wall. It can, you know, it's very like easy to use, and you can brew large doses. So they actually, what was surprising to me, because I haven't been into a Verve cafe in a bit of time, was that they now use, I mean, it makes sense, but they use this in the cafe now. And Pepe, me, Jose, and Harry, we ordered this coffee here, brewed off of this dripper. They use of a more automated setup there, because, you know, obviously speed, and the natural Gesha was tasting really great off of the dripper. So anyway, that's that. Now let's brew some coffee. And I can talk a little bit more about how it feels like to brew. But you can, you know, you can for sure stick your, you know, 155s in here, I believe. let me take some of these X-Bloom paper filters. These are 155 and stick it in here. I don't really like 185s as much. Although what's been interesting when I say 185, you know, Kalita 185, is Kalita 185s do not feel like they have the problems Kalita 155 have. And I don't know if that's like a crazy take. So yeah, if you do, well, you know, these are smaller paper filters, like they're around 155 size, maybe a little smaller. You know, it'll fit in here. We have a little gap there up top, but you're still gonna get the same exact properties. The other thing to mention and why this is nice, and I think we mentioned it in the original video, is that if you are brewing with wave filters, there's an actual gap here, right? Or like there's like the support wall. So the problem with the regular Kalitas, right? If I continue my Kalita hatred, Kalita brewer and Kalita paper filters hatred, is that so your paper filters can kind of collapse on one, you know, the wave, right? These won't collapse, right? B75 has this thing too. All of the modern brewers have this thing too. So that's great. We see that there. And this is why I continue to shit on the Kalita. I'm so sorry, but I'm just spitting facts. Okay, so we'll brew with the 155, and I guess we can brew Esmeralda, we can brew these other coffees, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, Kalita 185 are great. How did I brew? Okay, I'll answer some chat questions here. I don't think this will melt. Like I've run boiling water through this, and like these are pretty resistant. It feels like I'm not a materials person at all, but you know. So this is just like, you know, basically the water flows through. Here, I'll do it like this. This is 98 Celsius water. You know, the water flows through pretty fast here. And this is me pouring from a timer fish into, these are basically Kalita 185s. I think these are the Zero Hero 185s. So it's a, but I have all these random paper filters here and there. So it flows really fast. So really, and if you saw how fast I was pouring there, sometimes on Kalita, you'll see that the paper filter will compress against the bottom, like Kalita waves and a lot of these flat bottom brewers. But the modern generation of flat bottom brewers like Aurea, B75, this now, right? We don't have any of those problems of like, okay, the paper filter is pushing against the bottom and suddenly you see a pool of water that appears here. Also, you know, visually, none of this matters. Like I was mentioning, the paper filters, the waves kind of sticking into these little like grooves here. I don't think that really matters, but it looks better, right? It looks better. And you know, we still have that structure here. This does get really warm, and then you'll see like the beads of water pool there. This is where coffee will pool here, and you just want to, you know, clean that off. But we'll go and brew it. You know, the reality of all of this coffee brewing stuff at this level is that this is just gonna taste like, you know, other flat bottom brewers, or other fast flowing flat bottom brewers, which is great. That's exactly what we want, but you get the advantage of this thing being bulletproof. Or you can like throw it against the wall and all of that. And also, yeah, if you're brewing on a craft, you get the little air pockets here. So, you know, all of these, like here's the UFO, right? You get the little hole on the side for to prevent any sort of stalling through vacuums. I do have the Flower Child Esmeralda. I have no idea what the Suji Chiro Buddha stripper is. I actually have been brewing the Flower Child Esmeralda, but I think we'll start with some fun naturals. Maybe the Kenyan natural. I'm just like, this is so interesting. I've never had a Kenyan natural before. We can also brew this. Let me link this coffee in the chat if you guys were curious on what we are brewing. I think I'll link these three coffees in here if they have them. we will brew these all together. Okay, I'm gonna drop a message in here. So there's this coffee we're gonna brew. I think we'll brew this coffee, and then we will brew this coffee. So I think we'll brew those 3 coffees today on the stream. So we're brewing the Ichi Mama Natural, Esmeralda Washed from Flower Child, and then Elida Natural. I don't know which one we should start with first. But yeah, we'll figure that out. So do the Kenyan first? Okay, we can do the Kenyan first. How did you brew the China exclusive say? I brewed it the exact way I brew say. You can do it the way I did. I brew it, and it tasted fine. Okay, so natural Kenyan, really interesting. Also, let me grab something real quick. You know, this is really cool. I just wanted to mention this is like people doing books on, I mean, this is Panama. We're going to brew some Panama coffees, but they made this book, photo book on Panama. And it's like whole entire thing here. And all the photos are shot on film. And at the back, like, you know, we can see that's a Hasselblad 501 C something. I don't know my Hasselblad models. But then, yeah, 501 CM, and then you can see like the film stocks and the stuff that they shot. So I thought this was really cool, right? I'm like, this is so cool. I'm excited about a Bay Area coffee roast. This is insanity. Anyway, let's brew this here. We have natural Kenyan. That's weird, right? Natural Kenyan. Most of the, wow, I'm smelling that. I hope it. I think I had one natural Kenyan before from Onyx. Otherwise, I don't really know of times that, you know, naturally processed Kenyan coffees rarely exist. So let me look at what the coffee details are. You know, if you really think about it, tomatoes are fruits. So it's okay. This also feels like a coffee we should brew maybe on the lower temperatures. Even though this is a light roast and this is roasted on lowering now. You know what's been interesting is like, I've had this like, you know, fun friendship / working relationship with Verve because of work here. And, you know, I went over there and I was like, guys, you have these amazing coffees. And I complained a lot about their coffees. And I was like, please get lowering. Please fix this. And, you know, they made a lot of adjustments. And I'm just really happy that there is a Bay Area coffee roaster, especially of this scale, that is putting out coffees that are actually roasted really well. Can't really say that about every single Bay Area coffee roaster. But... or major city roaster. So, Kenyan, geez. No, I don't have any of those grinders. Yeah, Cafea Circular stuff is complicated. Their wash Kenyans taste more processed than maybe other places natural. So, let's read up on the details on this coffee, guys. Ichi Mama Factory, naturally processed, bright notes of mango, pineapple, deeper tart flavors of blackcurrant, making this an unforgettable cup. So it is SL28, SL34, Ruru 11, natural, grown at 1740 meters above sea level. This is an anaerobic natural. Okay, so it says it was fermented anaerobically under plastic sheets for 48 hours and then dried. Then the natural part occurs. Okay. Let me smell this coffee. When I opened it, I was like, okay, this is crazy. It smells nice. It is a for sure a natural, but I'm not getting any of those synthetic attributes of an anaerobic natural. I'm gonna try brewing 15 grams, even though they mentioned 20 grams. just because I don't really want to go through 20 grams of these, the Esmeralda and Elida later for today. But let me show you guys the coffee. Right, like when people say, oh, like all these roasters are roasting charcoal, it's like not really, right? Like, look, this is light. This is not as light as the Elida, and both of the Elidas, but also natural Kenyan, guys. What is going on? Look, see, you can see the lack of the silver skin there is your natural Kenyan. I mean, it has that natural, like, dried fruit effect. I'm really curious about what's going to appear in the cup. They might have the big Kalita. So Kalita has different size brewers. And I guess we will grind this at my normal grind setting on 01. See if you guys can see this. I think this is relatively level. You know, we could have also used the scoop that they gave us. And I'm brewing this at 95 Celsius just because natural, Kenyan. Wow. I'm not smelling any tomato. I am not smelling any tomato. And maybe tomatoes are more characteristic of wash process Kenyans. Who knows? Okay. Very tropical. You know, if you've ever had a like a wash Kenyan, usually wash Kenyans kind of veer in two directions, or Kenyan coffee, in my experience, veers in two directions. Is like you'll get either like, you know, red fruit, the tomato stuff, black currant, or it'll go into like the mango tropical world. Like this is an example of like more yellow fruit skewing Kenyans. This is what this smells like, or maybe something in between. You know, their notes are mango, blackcurrant, pineapple. But let's go ahead and brew this, and we'll see what happens. Wow, that is a natural, but I'm not getting any funk. You know, sometimes those like Ethiopian naturals, you smell them, it smells like just straight funk. It smells good. And I'm brewing on the side here so you guys can see. So yeah, look at how fast that is. I mean, I'll give this some agitation. I guess, you know, you get the handle, you can like give it some agitation, but look at how fast that is. So that's what I was saying, is like you're getting the fast flowing characteristic, and you kind of can see the... Well, I'll zoom you guys in after I do this next pour. I'm going to pour pretty aggressively here. So I'm pouring like, you know, 15-ish mils. And you can see that the flow is still very, very steady. Like, let me zoom you guys in here. Yeah, I'm pouring pretty aggressively here. 255. So the nice thing that I observe is, and maybe it feels like it flows even faster than the previous dwell, is that if you've ever brewed with Kalita, or even, you know, maybe sometimes even April, is that you'll find that as you pour more water and things get more compressed down and you're brewing more and more of the coffee, the flow rate will slow down, right? Obviously, we're seeing the flow slow down here, but what ends up happening with some of those Kalitas is they'll end up stalling, right? You don't have like the capillary action and all that stuff at the bottom here that is pulling the liquid through, right? Or like you'll end up getting things just pushing together against the bottom because you don't have enough holes that will then stall the brew. So that finished up really fast. And, you know, if you take a look at my beautiful pouring technique, just slamming water, but you can see there is that the liquid goes through here. You see all those beads right there. So that's really cool, is like, you know, we're getting the coffee coming out really, really fast, right? So it was the same thing kind of here where we were seeing that, but because there's another hole and another gap, I'm going to empty this out real quick and show you the differences. All right, it's like this has been adjusted a lot. It feels, you know, they both are really, really fast, but as you see there, you know, you're gonna just want to rinse that off. Same thing here, right? So I think the complaints about silicone, I don't know. I'm like, I just rinse the thing off and it's fine. And there's no really smells or anything like that. But you can see the heat retention's good on this. This, by the way, does get pretty warm. So I guess, you know, if you look at temperature stability and whatever you want, this could potentially result in a different type of flavor profile with how the brewing dynamics happen. But you're not going to get any of those headaches of, oh, I'm pouring pouring really, really fast, and then the brew stalls. So this, to me, is like, you know, what all of these flat bottoms should be in 2024, 2025, is that you should be able to pour water very fast, very slow, and whatever. It shouldn't be the brewer itself that stalls, you know, or, you know, of course, paper filters, but having an open design and all of that is exactly what, you know, we like in terms of today's landscape of brewing coffee. Okay, now I'm gonna give this a taste. Natural Kenyan. Crazy. So yeah, like this, see, it's like this. Okay, I'm just gonna rinse it off. Also, as I was rinsing it off, I did notice something. So this is why I was feeling the material felt a little different, is this material is less sticky. So you see, like, look at that water beating up on the dripper. So I think there's like another coating on here now that is preventing some sort of dust or, you know, hair or whatever to sticking on here. Because yeah, of course, smell is a concern with some of these brewers, but, you know, it seems like they've updated this here. Whereas like the old version that I have here has, you know, some dust and stuff on it. Obviously, we ran this over, and I have not cleaned it on purpose. But yeah, this seems to be much better in terms of cleanliness. Right? Doesn't really. It's just it smells fine. Okay, natural Kenyan. Let's give this a taste. In before this cup tastes like ketchup? I hope not. Wow, smells nice. But it feels like I can grind way finer on this brewer and, you know, push it pretty hard and not run into any of the challenges of the brewer, you know, getting in the way of me experiencing a style of coffee or a way to brew coffee, right? Which is exactly what I want, right? This is why I brew with, like, you know, UFO and all of these things now, because it's like, I want to be able to brew coffee in whatever way that I want. And generally speaking, having a brewer that lets you have the maximum flow lets you get things in between, right? You then can adjust a lot of different variables, right? Or you go, full variable valve with something like S-Works and you have a lot of control. Okay. I think I'm very surprised at what this coffee tastes like. I get the currant. I was going to say grape. For sure mango. Is it clean? I don't think this is like the cleanest coffee in the world, but it's interesting. So, this is a really fun coffee. I mean, a lot of mango, a lot of blackcurrant. There's, it's not the cleanest coffee in the world because it's a natural. But what's really nice is, at least, if I talk about how this brewer is brewing, this tastes like what a fast-flowing flat bottom brew should taste like. AKA, the way I say it is usually a little more acidity forward. Flat bottoms to me generally have this weight of acidity, like a weightier acidity, oomph in terms of acidity. But because we're able to pour fast and we're able to really try to push some of these coffees with the flow rate, you get that juice. So there's this really nice juiciness. Yes, it feels rounder and heavier acidity. That also might be because this is a natural Kenyan. But, to me, this tastes like what a good S-Works brew tastes like, a good Oria brew tastes like. There are only so many iterations you could do in terms of coffee brewers. The nice thing, though, is that I think I can fit, big doses in this. But let me taste this some more, right? I'm not tasting anything where I'm like, oh, this tastes bad or tastes away because of how the brewer handles, right? Oftentimes, if you brew something like Elida, metal Elida, you'll be like, oh, this isn't going to taste good because my last 3 pours all stalled. This is not, and you don't get any of the problems here. So I brewed this on 01 with the Mizens. So the Mizens always, to me, have this really nice, balanced and sweet and clean profile. But because I was, you guys saw I was dumping water, I was pouring maybe 16 to 17 mils, you get some of that more perceivable acidity. And what's nice is, I was able to actually brew that way, right? So there's this creaminess in this coffee that's interesting, maybe something like savoriness, but it could also be because of flat bottom presentation. I honestly have not been brewing a lot of flat bottom recently. I've just been brewing, I guess this is kind of almost a flat bottom, but I've been brewing a lot of UFO, of course, been brewing V60. Okay, technically I've been brewing flat bottom because of this, but it's nice to actually taste some flat bottom cups. Okay, nice weightier acidity. I like the depth of acidity that I'm getting out of this, or the style of brew. It's not searingly clear. The biggest way I think it's a more harmonious cup between 1 point of acidity to everything else, versus I would say a V60 has that kind of effervescent acidity quality, or I would say less juicy on V60 at times, but more searing definition of flavor notes. This here has a lot of juice in it, which I actually am quite appreciating. Although I would argue I probably would prefer this specific coffee on a V60 to experience maybe some of the more nuanced notes. But a lot of people do like this type of flavor profile. Now that it's cooled, yeah, wow. Very sweet. Super, super sweet coffee. Mango, a lot of... I get a little bit of this red fruit. No tomato. Good. I do like tomatoes. There's this interesting rounding and sweetness that I'm getting, lingering on my palate. I feel like if I brewed this coffee the same way on V60 or flat bottom, or sorry, not flat bottom, but cone or column, I would get a more extension of this like tropical acidity that I'm getting, but instead I'm getting more sweetness, more rounding. Makes sense because it's a flat bottom. But overall, this is really good. Like, you know, good, very interesting coffee, actually. Like, this is actually really interesting if you think about it. Naturally processed Kenyan. Let me get something real quick. I have to prevent the stream from dying. Need to put the stream on life support. So yeah, really interesting coffee. So I think what a great way to start the stream is natural processed Kenyan. I mean, I've never in recent memories, I really just do not remember what natural Kenyans taste like. So that's really nice to be able to experience a coffee like this. You know, it's got the weightiness of the naturals. It's got like, you know, the heavier body. But also I think that's emphasized a lot because of the way we brewed it on this today. I mean, I don't actually own a B75, but I really like it. I really just use S-Works, and, you know, I'll use this some more, but yeah. When am I going to switch from LM to CR? I don't know. Maybe next week. Maybe next week. If we can pull off the live stream, you guys will see some really cool stuff. We will be at Cafe Tech on Tuesday, so we'll do a stream there. So I think I'll brew this coffee since they just released this coffee, and we can brew this in a more meticulous way with this and this. I've actually been really enjoying mellow drip with flat bottoms. I've been playing around with this with it's kind of interesting to like combine mellow drip with no bypass brewers. Like, you know, of course the column is no bypass, but like you do this with the Oshid S-Works. But I haven't done it recently with a actual flat bottom. So we'll play around with this natural Esmeralda. I mean, no, sorry, this natural Elida that they just released, and yeah, but Verve has been cooking, guys. They actually are cooking. It's crazy, right? Like, that's the nice thing. I love to just see these coffee roasters release these amazing coffees, especially at scale, right? When you think about how big these roasteries are, that they're able to still give this quality, which is really nice. But natural Kenyan, it's tasting pretty good. So, yeah. Now let's brew this as Elida, and then we can wrap up brewing Esmeralda. And that is the plan for today. So, this coffee, I actually am surprised that it's only $50 a bag. I mean, I guess it's only 100 grams. And I think they gave me way more than 100 grams. But, yeah, it's like a nice Loring roast, right? It's like just a good roast of a great coffee. And I'm quite happy that you can buy they serve this coffee in the coffee shop, right? Like, that is the crazy thing when you think about this. Like, you can get this experience in a coffee shop. So this is going to be a $20 cup of coffee, and you can literally go and get it at their shop for 20 bucks. But it's like, you know, to me, I think that's awesome, right? They have the ball. Coffee roasters, in my experience, is like, they have all the good shit, right? Like, some of these roasters, they'll like source all the good shit, and then they just don't have the balls to serve it, right? So the fact that they actually are serving this coffee you can get in a cafe is quite amazing. And that was you know, the other day, Pepe, me, Jose, Harry, we got this coffee in the cafe. We got this exact coffee in the cafe, and then they were like, oh, we have some of it, and then, you know, they released it online. So yeah, but I was like, that's amazing that that they are willing to serve a $20 cup of coffee in the Bay Area. It's so scary. Price sensitivity here, I think, for coffee in the recent years has gotten better, but still people are so scared. And they're like, oh my God, it's about $5. You're insane. So I'm going to link this coffee again because I think it's good. Good, good, good. I don't remember full. So I think that the Esmeralda from oh, wow, it smells great. So for sure the biggest difference between the Esmeralda from Say versus Flower Child was Say's was more like vanilla. I felt like it was more vanilla sweetness. This one here is more like silky. Silky, citrus, different producer, Esmeralda, if I remember. It's gonna give us a pre-wet. I guess if you're Harry, you don't really pre-wet paper filters. And I'm gonna try pushing this coffee. I guess we'll brew it in the hotter regions. Like, let's see, let's brew it like what, 97, 98. Because these coffees are light. This is actually a slightly lighter. It looks slightly lighter than the Kenyan that we were just brewing. But wow, it smells great. So I'm really happy that I was handed this coffee. Thank you, Verve. Thank you, Colby. So this is the Elida Estate Natural Gesha. For anyone who ever pays attention to what's on the wall or on the racks over here, as you see, I'm a big Wilfred Lemastus fan. I have multiple coffees from, you know, here, we'll look at the Elida Estate wall real quick. Never forget about this. Oh my God. 2022 Elida Estate wash from Proud Mary. And then, this was still one of my favorite coffees, I think in my top 5 ever. Washed Elida from, say, 2022. Oh my God. And of course I also have the natural here, which I thought was great. But the 20, oh my God, this coffee is incredible. So we have that. Then of course we have the 91.5 Bean and Bean Elida Estate. You know, I like Elida. So anyway, Elida Estate coffees are really good. Just depends on, you know, hit or miss. Sometimes they're hit or miss. Like 2023, say Elida was a little sad, but 2022 is amazing. But this is a natural. So I think what's interesting to me is that most of the coffees that I have had from Elida that have been incredibly impressive to me have been wash coffees. So I don't really drink that many naturals from Elida. And of course, you know, there are interesting naturals from Elida like ASD, and they'll do like the Katuai stuff. These are more, I would say, winey, little boozier. But the naturals from, the natural Geshas from Elida are always, you know, really impressive. So let's brew this one. It says they have flavor notes of, what are the flavor notes on here? I don't even know if they're flavor notes. Okay, here we go. Pineapple, camphor-y intertwined with the sweetness of pomegranate, with delicate hints of jasmine, honeysuckle, and an elegant finish. Natural Panama Gesha moment, guys. So, yeah. this is on the fresher end, but basically, you know, if we brew this and we do all the weird techniques, we'll see. It's like we'll see what happens. But I'll zoom you guys in, and I'll try to get you guys see if you guys can see what I'm doing here. But wow, this coffee smells incredible. Very floral, fruity. Actually, honestly, very fruit forward. So I'm gonna see. Let me zoom this in, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do an initial pour, and then I'm gonna mellow drip it. And we're still gonna go into like that 1 to 17-ish world. Is the audio cutting out? I don't know. Here, I can increase the audio levels. Does it sound better? All right, this is the $20 cup of coffee you can get. The reason why the brewer is high up is because it looks cooler, right? You guys can see the liquid go out. I mean, I could lower it. I'll do it this way. Does this look better? Do we like how this looks? I'm also brewing at the side here because I can't see what the numbers are. Here, should we do it this way? And we'll mess up everything. We'll do it this way. You can also change the direction of this. We can brew off the table. Okay. Coffee brewing technology, guys. So look at how fast that is. My table, of course, is not the most level table in the world, but you can see that the flow is really fast. So I added 60. It's 15, so I'm going to go up to 255, but I pour 60 here. Then I'm going to do mellow drip to 170, and then mellow drip, 160, 170 world, then mellow drip all the way to 255. So we're going to do I'm going to bloom this for an entire minute, because this is actually quite light, and it's on the fresher end. Oh man, it smells great. You can see, nice and extracted there. And then I am just going to mellow drip my way up to success here. And we'll actually pour quite slow. Even though this was a very fast brewer, we already have demonstrated that you can clearly pour very, very fast with this, and you don't run into any sort of problems with stalling. See there? The flow is really, really nice. God damn, so sweet. I don't want to say perfumey, but like floral, clean, fruit. It's like dried fruits. I'm only pouring around 5 to 6 ml a second. Before, the other brew I was pouring at 16. There we go. So you can see that the liquid there goes all the way around the edges, and then it still pools kind of in the center. So there's a hole in the center, so that's why it's kind of off to one side. But the liquid's going out from the paper filter, and then it is going through the side, going down. And then you get kind of that nice raindroplet effect. But I can actually grind this way, way finer. That's crazy. But I am getting, faster brew times because I don't really think I need super fast or super long brew times with something like 01, which is a pretty fast extracting burr set with the Misons. But there you go. Nice and extracted. See if there's any excess, so you can like bonk the brewer on there. And then actually let me set this off to the side. Here, let's take a look at this. I was shaking the brewer around, so it's a little hard to see, but as you see there, flat-ish bed. I mean, I was just mellow dripping, so it didn't really matter. And then if we take a look at this, here, actually, let me take the paper filter out. So obviously, you'll see that there's still some retained coffee on the inside there, just droplets, so you'll just need to rinse that out. Like, you know, you can clearly see where the paper filter is touching the coffee or the dripper, right? You can clearly see like there's coffee here, and you can see like the flow, the capillary action, like where it is sucking the, like, you know, here you can see there's a drop of coffee there, right? You can clearly see that the paper filter is sticking to here, and these gaps and these structures are pulling the liquid through, right? We're not getting any sort of stalling, even though we are pushing the coffee. You know, like you could weigh this out with a lot of coffee and you're not going to get any stalling, it seems, because I was pouring so fast in that earlier example. But yeah, and you see there, the droplets then come out over here. So that's great. And then you have this here. So if you were brewing this in a in a carafe or a mug, you're not going to get any of that vacuum effect. So yeah, they've really thought this one through. Pretty cool. Now let's give this a taste. So a very different presentation of brew. We did the mega fast heavy pour, 15 plus mils a second on this versus our 5 to 6 mil mellow drip slow pour. But you can see this is very, very well extracted. Both of these are Verve coffees. Crazy, right? We're out here brewing Verve. And I guess we can try grinding really, really fine for this Flower Child coffee. Of course, the first two coffees we brew were naturals, so, you know, they sometimes could flow faster, but like, look at that. This is why we really like mellow drip. So what's going to be curious to me is, because I haven't really done this with a fast flowing flat bottom before with mellow drip, is like, what happens? Maybe it's going to be like super, super sweet. But this is your $20 cup of coffee. And, you know, the fact that they are taking this coffee that we're brewing right now, which is this Elida Estate Natural Gesha, and they're serving it to people is like crazy. I'm telling you guys, it's okay to take risks in coffee. Wow. That smells great. I still can't believe this is like only $50 for this bag. Wow. That's so sweet. So much jasmine. That's the thing with mellow drip, is like the sweetness level is crazy in this cup. Very, very defined. I'm gonna let this cool down some more. I get a lot of really nice, I want to say like a red fruit. I think they mentioned pomegranate, red fruit in here, but this linger of sweetness is absolutely insane. And I think it's kind of also that same effect where I find that with the flat bottoms, you do get that heavier, weightier acidity, but there's really nice rounding and sweetness from some of these brewers. And I wasn't pouring super, super fast, so I wasn't really even trying to like push out a crazy amount of acidity, but I am getting really, really nice definition in here. And I think that's also because of the mellow drip we were brewing with. But again, you know, I'm just demonstrating that you can do all the different styles of agitation, all the different styles of brewing, right? We have like crazy heavy direct agitation versus, you know, this type of percolation, mellow drip agitation, and we don't run into any sort of problems with the brewer getting in the way of us experiencing a different presentation or dynamics of how coffees should be brewed, right? And I think that's like a representation of like what a good coffee dripper brewer should be in this world in 2024, 2025. Anyway, let me taste this some more, but that's so sweet. It's clean. Obviously, not a fair comparison, tasting natural Kenyan against Elida Estate Gesha, natural Gesha, but this is really, really clean in the context compared to this. That's just how it is. Acidity is very defined. It is for sure. I would say this roasting style. Let me like talk a little bit about what I think this roasting style tastes like, and then we'll also get this Esmeralda ready. I just brewed this Esmeralda yesterday. I've been brewing this Esmeralda for the past few days. I've been really impressed with it. But let's also brew the Esmeralda against this, even though, yeah, this is a natural. But this is like what I would say a roasting style that most of you nerds out there will really like. And we can compare it against this. But this is like, I would say this is more sweetness focused. Do I think this is more developed than this? Maybe a tinge. There's this like kind of searing acidity effect that maybe because of how I brewed. Actually, I'll brew these two coffees the exact same way or very, very similarly. There's like a searing clarity of acidity that I think maybe this is the natural, so it doesn't really have that. But it's really good. Like this probably will have a slightly louder acidity, or this roasting style. But I think yeah, wow, this coffee, I'm actually kind of impressed. Very impressed. There's that juice. So you get a lot of nice juiciness from the mellow drip, so much sweetness. There's this, yeah, the finish on this is really nice. It's kind of, I mean, it's been a while since I brewed fast flowing flat bottom, okay? I wanted to save this for the stream. So my Esmeralda, by the way, is a little on the fresher end. I would probably let this rest another week, but this was an 11:25 roast. So, but I've been brewing it, and I'm like, yeah, it tastes great. I do have the Karamo here from Say, but I haven't opened it yet. I'll grind slightly finer. So I was at 5.5 on 01 for all of these. I think we'll go to like 5.2. And let me rinse this guy out. And we'll keep sipping on these coffees. And I actually think I can brew the flower child at the same temperature. So like 90, 97, 98 Celsius. Oh, wow. Such a different presentation of really good panama Gesha. Esmeralda. So clean. Definitely not as loud in this exact comparison. Although I will say I am very spoiled by that 92.5 Esmeralda that Jiyun at Bean and Bean had. Hoping to get some of that coffee in to try. But man, this Elida is so good. Good job, Verve. I'll taste some of the Kenyan. See if this Kenyan has... Okay. Ooh, whoa. Yeah. Natural Kenyan. It's like fruit juice. This natural Kenyan is actually like fruit juice. Crazy. Very tropical. It's not really as defined in terms of like what is happening in the cup. It's just like fruit juice. I actually, yeah, I'm like, wow. Really, really nice. But then this Elida is like, there's something at the back of here where it's like kind of obscuring things a little. But this natural Elida is like crazy. Really, really, really nice. And then now we're going to brew washed Esmeralda. So it's a good stream today. Only good coffees allowed. Honestly, I think a lot of you guys would enjoy this the natural Kenyan. But of course, I think, if you're a true connoisseur, you'll probably enjoy the natural Elida more. And this Esmeralda more. It really do be like that. Okay, so I'm also going to brew this natural Esmeralda, washed Esmeralda. I like the O1 a lot. I like a lot of these grinders. They're all great. They're all good. I use the O1 a lot for the streams because it's easy. But we'll see. There will be some new stuff next week, so stay tuned. Won't spoil anything. Wait until Tuesday. Laptop, I gotta plug in. Here, I'll zoom you guys in for this one. Natural. The dripper is the Verve Dwell. Yeah, so I'm going to visit Dennis, and assuming the internet is good, I'm gonna like hype this all up, and people are gonna be mad when the internet doesn't work, right? We're gonna do a stream next Tuesday. Stay tuned. Wow. Incredible. Good job, Preston. Absolutely, it's so good. It smells so amazing. So here we go. I'm going to do the same kind of pouring pattern as I was doing before. So 60 milliliter bloom. For a minute. And then we're going to mellow drip all the way up to 255, but we do 2 mellow drip pours. One is to 160 or 170, and then the rest is to 255. So the exact same pour patterns that I do for every single other, the exact same amount of water that I pour for everything else that I do. Just the difference is we are using mellow drip, which really helps boost up this clarity, the definition of acidity, makes things very harmonious, as you would say. The flow is still really nice out of the Dwell. Yep, as you see there, you get the flow coming out the edges and also in the center. The main part is still the center in where the flow comes out. Makes sense. Then let's do our final pour. I'm pouring about 6-ish mils a second. Going in very slow-ish circles. All right. There it is. There is the advanced technology. Let's see if I can zoom you guys in even more. Might be hard to see because of the angle in which I have the camera, but you hopefully get the idea. There it is. So you see there, you know, they're like little droplets and they go out to the edges and in the center. So the flow is very, very consistent. Great. All right, let's taste the Esmeralda next to the Verve Elida and then next to also the Kenyan, also from Verve. So we have 2 Verve coffees, 1 Flower Child coffee. Panama season, of course. So we have very interesting Panama coffees. But yeah. Okay. If you want more than 1 cup dripper, this is actually a really good choice. Like, you can fit big dosages in this thing. Okay, so let me taste a little bit of this Kenya. We'll do the Kenya, then we'll do this, and then we'll do this. Work our way up. This is also the most expensive coffee out of all 3 of these. So anyway, natural Kenyan from before. So we got the natural Kenya. We got the here, I'm gonna put this here. We got natural Kenya. We got Elida Natural, put this here, and then we got Esmeralda, washed, from Flower Child. So we have very different cups, but all brewed on the Dwell Dripper. Fast flat bottom, right? Well, I'm not complaining about how you know, I'm like really impressed by this the fast flowing flat bottom stuff. So this one was brewed with really, really heavy, high agitation. These 2 coffees were brewed a little more meticulously with lower agitation with mellow drip. And I'm just going to taste all 3 of these for fun, side by side, and we can talk a little bit about, obviously the coffees are different, but we can talk a little bit about dynamics and how things are presented. Natural Kenyan. This is so interesting. So natural Kenyan, you know, really doesn't exist. But I tried to brew, I find that if you do heavier kettle agitation, even with something like flat bottom, you generally get this really nice punchier acidity that's up front. You'll get a lot of weightiness in terms of acidity because of fast flowing flat bottom and kind of that effect. And you'll get a lot of really nice like rounded sweetness. So those are like the 2 kind of characteristics that I find in most of these brews is like heavier oomph in terms of acidity, punchier acidity, and also nicer rounding maybe in the finish. Like maybe perceivable sweetness is up. Yes, there's juiciness, but I think maybe I perceive juiciness and searing acidity to be more characteristic, or linger of acidity or extension of acidity to be characteristics of cone. So slight different presentations, right? But, very personal preference there. So, but let's taste this. Natural Kenyan. Wow. Yeah, acidity forward. Mango juice. Basically mango juice, really sweet, nice linger on my palate, but the acidity, it's like, yes, you get that oomph of acidity, but then it goes into a lot of really, really nice sweetness. Tastes really good. Natural Elida, brewed slower on mellow drip. More meticulous way of brewing. Definitely always boosts up clarity, boosts up sweetness, all that. Less time with the acidity. This had more acidity, perceivable acidity. This is more sweetness forward, with a lot of those nice flat bottom characteristics. There's a nice level of florality in this coffee. I think this will have more florality, but we'll taste it again. There's this really interesting pomegranate and jasmine. It's like pomegranate jasmine tea, I would say. Sweet, round, and the thing that's lingering on my palate is sweetness. And I think that's mainly because of the flat bottom characteristics, but also mellow drip. Tasting great. There's actually a lot of really nice pomegranate acidity in the back. So this was more acidity forward with the direct kettle agitation. This is more like the acidity has shifted maybe towards the mid palate or the back, but it's very, very well defined because of the mellow drip, and has that weightier effect because of the flat bottom, and I get some nice juice because of the flow. Esmeralda time. Wash Esmeralda from Flower Child. Also roasted on Loring. All these are roasted on Loring. Wow. Floral forward. Ooh. Citrus, plum, jasmine, silky finish. Very clean finish. Very sweetness forward. Also because we brewed these two coffees very similarly with mellow drip. Round, there's still that weightier acidity that I'm getting. I would say that this is more of like a plum acidity. This is more of like a pomegranate acidity. This actually is super clean when I'm tasting it versus this. This is for sure cleaner, but I'm not tasting any sort of like problems with the roast on any of these. I do think this is a little lighter than this, like ever so slightly. There is this structure of acidity that's really interesting in this Esmeralda. I'm trying to figure out exactly how to describe it, but the acidity is just like lingering on my palate. But both of these cups are very sweetness forward. Wow, Esmeralda, damn, good job. Delicate. I mean, like complex. There's intensity in here, but like really nuanced, like so nuanced. Like this is a thonkin coffee. You gotta like thonk about this one. These are much louder, much more in your face. I'd still say like this roasting style, very structured in terms of acidity, right? If you think about like definition of acidity, of course this is a wash coffee. The main thing that's still lingering on my palate is that acidity, despite it being like the weightier, heavier oomph acidity that you get out of fast flat bottom. Then it finishes into like clean, silky finish, like, but it's like so layered. This natural Elida here, the natural Elida here, Gesha also, it's like fruit juice. This was like fruit juice, but this is like red fruit juice. And the main thing that's lingering on my palate and the thing that is presented to me is sweetness. So, but both of these are, roasted on Loring, roasted light, high definition roast, but this is like, I would say the Verve roast to me is more sweetness forward. It's like ever so slightly in the direction of sweetness, whereas this the Flower Child roast is in the direction of acidity. Like, but they're both, different coffees here, but I would say that is kind of how I'm trying to describe the roasting styles here. So that's actually quite impressive to me that this is tasting this good next to this. Like a few years ago, you could tell me like, I wouldn't really be buying a coffee like this a few years ago from this roaster. Despite them being local to me, right? Because it's like, oh, you can't trust the roasting, you can't trust spending the money on here. But like, tasting this next to this, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty close. I mean, I think this is still in line with preferences of like, the true hyper nerds. But the fact that they're able to do this is pretty amazing. And they're serving this coffee to people. So not bad, actually. And yeah, wow. But as you have noticed, I have not even talked about like this in this entire last bit, right? I've only been talking about the coffees because that is what I think a good coffee brewer dripper should be, is that I'm not talking about like, oh, there's this problem, or oh, there's this, thing that's happening that's letting me do X, Y, and Z thing, or whatever, right? This at the end of the day is just, it's a simple tool. It's a really good flat bottom brewer, and it's not imparting any sort of issues with me enjoying these coffees, right? And I think that's like the main thing with what I am looking for in today's landscape of coffee brewers, right? Drippers, is that like, yes, there are nuances. Yes, everything can taste different with the shapes and the flow and all of that. But the thing is like in the landscape of today's iterations of coffee drippers, it really shouldn't be anything that gets in the way of me enjoying the coffee, right? It for sure should allow me to also present the coffee in different ways, right? We were able to brew a cup here with heavy, crazy agitation. We didn't run into any sort of issues. We were able to brew with low agitation, high definition brews, and we didn't have any sort of problems, right? The brewer was just like the way that let us experience these coffees, right? The medium, right? And that's the nice thing. And all of these, brewers, they'll all perform slightly different. There are characteristics and all of that. But like the main thing is that this is not a blocker to me enjoying what the work these producers and roasters are doing. So yeah, that's the Dwell Dripper. Just wanted to talk about that and brew some coffee for you all. But yeah, that's it. Good job, Verve. Would recommend picking up their coffees. Local, we gotta elevate Bay Area coffee, right? Bay Area, these are all Bay Area coffee roasters. We gotta elevate Bay Area coffee. But the fact that they are serving this in their cafe is like actually insanity to me. That you can get a cup that's this good. It is brewed on this, by the way. I don't know if they'll brew it as meticulously as yours truly with the mellow drip. But that's really, really nice that they actually have this out there and they're taking that risk and they have the balls to put out $20 cups of coffee. So really, really like the direction that Verve is going. And they actually made a coffee brewer. So, wanted to kind of show off that brewer today. But yeah, thanks for watching. And then welcome to my dripper TED Talk, guys. I can rant about drippers all day. Did you guys get the Esmeralda? This Esmeralda is tasting really, really good. You guys are playing Marvel Rivals, dude. Is it? Should we have a Marvel Rivals Day in the Discord? Is this what is needed? So the nicest thing about this, is like you can like throw this against the wall, right? You can like abuse this, right? You can like do that. There's no problems. Right, it's like those Triton ones. Oh, I turned off my exclamation Discord thingy on here. Hold on, let me turn it back on. We gotta turn the exclamation Discord back on. All right, there we go. Now you know. There are still these dumbasses these papagas who don't understand that these are live streams. Like I don't understand. Like, I used to have the chat window, the chat box here on the side, and then I gave up because I was like, I tried to put the chat box in there. The thing says it's a live stream. There's a fucking exclamation Discord somewhere here. Like, how is this not clear to people that this is a live stream, right? There's a fucking exclamation Discord here. And then there's, like, how else are you supposed to do this? You can't exclamation Discord. You can't use bot commands in a video, right? So you can bot command in a live stream, and the bot will do something. I can't win. So yeah, I used to have like this, and then I used to have the chat box on the side here, and then people are too stupid to realize that it's a live stream. Like somebody left this dumbass comment, which was like, you should edit. I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to edit a live stream? So anyway, some of these people should not be on the internet. No, you're on the stream right now, so you're not a boomer. It's okay. Edit more of the ceiling. Look at this. See if I can. Does this make you happy? Do you like the ceiling? Today we're gonna talk about this thing. Technology. Oh, this could be a YouTube thumbnail. Look at that. It's a coffee brewer. This is so cool. New coffee dripper, guys. Please like and subscribe. I love to talk about gear. What's the best coffee grinder under $500? How do I make a V60 5 different ways? So cool. I love coffee. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think like Natural Kenyan, super interesting. These two coffees are all tasting great. This is like $40 of coffee right here in terms of brewed coffee. I'm not going to finish them. I have no friends today. It's like flooding and shit in the Bay Area right now. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. What time is it? It is 12:28. What am I going to do? I have to maybe go to Moonwake later. Let's see. How much of this coffee can I drink? I guess I'll stop drinking the Kenyan, and then we'll drink. We've only been drinking naturals today, guys. Could you add in some espresso shots? I feel like $12 in beans for 2 sips of coffee really helps these ultra rare bean shots. I actually pulled this Elida as espresso, and it was incredible. This Esmeralda though. Esmeralda is so nuanced, so complex. But yeah, next week we got some really interesting things to stream. You know, if it's not obvious, there's a new Cafetech coffee grinder. I wonder what it could be. Maybe it's a new monolith or a new, you know, I don't know what it could be. Maybe it's a new. Does this fit? Whoa, you can use X Bloom with Dwell. Let's go. I gotta go tell them about that. It could be a new 180 millimeter conical grinder. But yeah, I'm trying to think about some like interesting topics we could do, because we're gonna be there and we're gonna stream. We'll probably stream for like an hour or so, depending on internet and you know who shows up. Like it'll just be a fun casual thing with Dennis, and then probably shoot some videos there. We also will go to Mavam. So me and TR are gonna go out to Dennis, and it's gonna be fun. We're also gonna go out to Mike. So you know we'll go see Mavam and Cafetech. You know, I think for a lot of enthusiasts, if you've never, you know, like you get to interact with these products, but like to be able to go to the shop and see it all made is just so cool. Especially like doing manufacturing in the USA, right? Is super hard. So I like the fact that, you know, Monolith is made here in the States, and I can go and see the guy, right? I could go see the guy who's making my grinder. That's so cool when you think about it. But yeah, there's gonna be some new stuff. Maybe a new tamper. Maybe the left tamp will make a return. The last time I went, I got these. This is unobtainium. I actually have the red one, which is like the mega unobtainium one. But I wanted the left tamp, and I don't think he had any left tamps, right? The left tamp is like the last tamper that I want to buy. Although this normal dose is really good, by the way. So if you guys got the normal dose, the new one is really good. I think this one's really good. But the only thing from the Cafetech lineup that I don't have yet that I really want is the left tamp. Yeah, that's some rare shit right there. Man could be spending time making burrs, or he could be making left tamps. Yeah. Dwell is perfect if you want to take your X-Bloom camping. Yeah, maybe. When will I get the blind burrs? We'll see. You know, just wait until next week. I'll have a stream announcement in the Discord, or probably on YouTube as well. The main concern is that, like, I haven't streamed at his factory before, and I'm literally, like, flying in. We're going to go from the airport to the factory, and we are going to set up the stream, and then we're going to, like, hope it all works. So I don't want to, like, get all these people excited. But so I will preface it somewhere. I'll be like, guys, if the stream doesn't work, my B. That's just how it is. You know, I just want it because like it would suck for Dennis mainly. Like, you know, he's like, oh my God, come over here. And so we're going over there. We're going to like show off cool stuff. And it would suck if the stream did not work. If we, you know, if it was done that way. But I think we should be able to get a good enough image going. Like, I think he has like 30 up. So 30 up should let me do at least this type of stream. Maybe not this quality, but, you know, I'll have my exact set. I'll have the same setup and all of that over there. It's just, you know, I have the fan now. I have the batteries. I have all of that. So the stream will not die when we are doing that. But yeah, I think that's all for today. Next Tuesday, I'll probably have a stream announcement, either Sunday or Monday, And hopefully my flight and nothing like that gets delayed, and it should be easy. Just, it's like an hour and a half. It's super close by to fly to Seattle, a 2 hour flight. And we'll go there and we'll set up the stream at the factory. We'll unveil what is under the covers there. It will be a very fun live stream, I hope. We'll just goof around with Dennis. We'll brew some coffee, pull some shots, make some cold brew. Who knows? So that'll be good. And then maybe I'll also try streaming a factory tour again, or we'll walk around the factory. It's just like, it really depends on what the internet situation's like there. I guess I could try streaming on my phone, but that's really hard to do. Because I don't have like a separate data plan for my phone streams or whatever. Anyway, yeah, that's all I got for today, guys. Just goofing around with the Verve Dwell, Brewing Kenyan Natural, Esmeralda washed, natural Elida Gesha. Good stuff. If the camera doesn't overheat, it's not a good stream though, right? Like, that's how all the good shit happens. Okay, well, I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching. Have a nice rest of your day. We will be online again probably on Tuesday. Yeah. I'll need to ship stuff out for people.